Hi, and welcome to a Life Soul podcast, where we explore personal growth, high performance, and intentional living. I am Wasim Balani, and I believe life isn't just about getting through the day, it's about becoming fully alive in everything we do. Through my journey, whether in medicine as a heart rhythm cardiologist, cycling and running, or personal development, I have learned that success isn't just about reaching goals, but about who we become along the way. This podcast is here to inspire and challenge you to push your limits, cultivate discipline, and live with purpose. Join me each week as we dive into ideas, reflections, and practical strategies to help you grow into your best self. So let's get started. Hey there, and welcome back to a Life Soul podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a dream so big it scared you a little? A dream that made your heart race, but also made you wonder, who am I to want this? We all have those kind of dreams. Sometimes they come to us when we're young, full of wonder and possibility. And sometimes they hit us later in life when we realize there is more we want to experience, build, or become. But the truth is, many people grow up learning how to tame those dreams and play it down. We start playing it safe. We try not to want too much. We shrink our goals to fit our comfort zone. And over time, the fire inside us starts to fade. That's why I want to talk about ambition today. Because ambition often gets misunderstood. It's not about ego. It's not about chasing titles or being better than someone else. Ambition is about honoring the fire inside of you. It's about recognizing that you were created with potential, with gifts, and with a purpose, and you're meant to grow into that. And the truth is, ambition is not just about having dreams, it's about owning them. It's about being assertive with your life and stepping into your purpose with courage and commitment. Because if we don't claim our dreams, who will? If we keep waiting for the right time or the perfect moment, we might never get there. So today, I want to talk about the gift of ambition, how it's shaped my life, how it continues to evolve, and how you can start embracing yours with more clarity and boldness. Because ambition isn't about becoming someone flashy or famous, it's about becoming someone intentional. Now, sometimes we dial our ambition down because we've been told that we need to have realistic ambitions or realistic expectations. Now, there's nothing wrong with being practical, having a grounded plan, thinking things through. That's a wisdom. But here's the problem. Sometimes realistic becomes another word for playing small. We say be realistic as if dreaming big is dangerous or foolish or something reserved for other people. But think about it. If humanity had only ever followed what was realistic, we never would have gone to the moon. We never would have flown planes. There would be no light bulbs or smartphones, no internet. At one point, every breakthrough idea looked unrealistic at that time. Steve Jobs didn't just say, let's build a slightly better flip phone. No, he imagined a whole new way to interact with the world. He dreamed of a device that could fit into your pocket and change your life. Was that realistic at that time? Not really. But it was ambitious. And that's what made it possible. The same goes for every major innovation, movement, or meaningful change. It started with someone who had the courage to dream beyond what was safe or typical at that time. So if you have a big dream that scares you a little, if people around you tell you to be realistic or stay in your lane, I want you to remember this. You weren't created to only stay within the lines someone else drew for you. You were created to think, to create, to grow, and to contribute. And sometimes that requires pushing past what's considered reasonable. So don't let realistic be your ceiling. Let it be your foundation and then build higher. And here's the other thing. A lot of people shy away from ambition. They confuse it with arrogance or ego. But ambition is not about thinking you're better than others, it's about honoring the potential inside of you. It's saying, I'm here for a reason, and I want to live that reason out fully. Without ambition, people drift. They settle for what's comfortable. But when you're ambitious with the right heart, it becomes a form of responsibility. Brendan Burchard said it well. Ambition isn't about having dreams, it's about owning them. And that means taking steps, showing up, and saying, this is the life I want to live, and I'm willing to do the work. Speaking about myself, I always had a big dream of becoming a successful doctor, and I put the work for it. I still remember being a kid in Syria, watching the TV show ER. It was set in the Cook County Hospital in Chicago. This big, busy place filled with drama, intensity, and doctors that were saving lives. And even though I was just a teenager, something about it lit a spark in me. I remember telling myself, one day I want to be like that. I want to work in the hospital like that. I want to make a difference. It wasn't just a wishful thinking. That moment turned into ambition. I told myself, I'm going to work hard for it. I'm going to study. I'm going to specialize in the United States. And maybe, just maybe, I'll end up working in that same hospital one day. And here's the crazy part. Years later, I did my cardiology training at Cook County Hospital, the very same place where that seed was planted. It's wild when I think about it. What once felt like a distant dream actually came true. Not because it was easy, but because I stayed committed to it, even when it felt out of reach. And after achieving that dream, my hunger to grow kept evolving. I wanted to become stronger physically, so I took up cycling and then running. And today, I've ridden 100-mile bike rides multiple times, finished half marathons, would plan to run a full marathon, and pushed my limits in ways I never imagined. Then another ambition started rising, a more internal one. I wanted to inspire, I wanted to empower, I wanted to help others live more intentionally. So I learned personal development. I built a website and a blog even though I had no background in that. I kept posting weekly and consistently. Then I decided to launch this podcast, to work on my speaking, to share what's in my heart openly, honestly, and consistently. And I'm still learning, still growing, and still showing up. Because ambition isn't a destination, it's a way of living. It's not about achieving one thing and calling it a day. It's about continuing to say yes to growth, to purpose, to becoming the person you were created to be. And you know, ambition isn't only about career or fitness, it's also about relationships. One of my greatest ambitions right now is to build a deeper connection with my family, and especially with my teenager son. Like this week, we're flying together to the Smoky Mountains for a father-son camp. And honestly, my hope is for this trip to help us bond more deeply, reflect together, and just enjoy each other's company. Because ambition can show up in the quiet moments too, in wanting to be a better father, a more present listener, a more intentional guide. We don't talk about ambition this way, but we should. Ambition is wanting something better for ourselves and being willing to work toward it even in our closest relationships. Now, as inspiring as ambition sounds, let's be real. It's not always easy to own your dreams. We don't just wake up every day fired up and ready to go after them. There are real things, external and internal, that holds us back. Sometimes it's that voice in your head saying, "Who do you think you are?" That whisper of self-doubt that creeps in and makes you question whether you're even worthy of dreaming big. I've heard that voice before multiple times. Even after becoming a successful doctor, even after starting my blog and podcast, I still face it. That sense of, maybe I'm not the guy people want to hear from. Other times, it's the weight of our past. Maybe you tried something before and failed. Maybe you started a project or chased a goal and didn't follow through. And now, every time a new dream comes to mind, you hesitate. You don't want to feel that disappointment again. So you convince yourself it's safer to stay where you are. And then there's that fear of judgment, not just from strangers, but sometimes from people close to you. What will they think? Will they laugh? Will they say I've changed? And that fear is real. And if you come from a culture or a community where ambition is sometimes labeled as arrogance or too much, then you learn to keep your dreams quiet. And let's not forget comparison. You look around and think everyone else is already ahead. So you talk yourself out of trying because you're starting late or you don't have it all figured out yet. But here's the thing, no one has it all figured out, and starting late is still better than never starting at all. One of the biggest myths we carry that ambition has to look flashy or perfect. But ambition is actually quiet, it's steady, it's often invisible at first, like working in the dark room. It's saying, I'm going to show up for this goal, even if I'm scared, even if I'm unsure, even if no one understands it yet. So, if you've ever felt like your ambition was too big, or not big enough, or too messy, or too complicated, I just want to say, you're not alone. And more importantly, you don't have to let those fears define what happens next. Your past may shape your story, but it doesn't define you. It doesn't have to write the next chapter. You get to decide what kind of life you want from here on. So now that we've talked about what can hold us back, let's talk about what actually looks like to own your ambition. Not just to dream, but to start stepping into it, boldly, intentionally, and with heart. Because dreams by itself isn't enough. It needs action to be ambition. It needs movement. It needs you to take the wheel and say, let's go. So, where do you start? First, you need to give yourself permission. That might sound simple, but it's huge. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your dreams. You stop looking for external confirmation or applause. You tell yourself, yes, I'm allowed to want this. I'm allowed to have big dreams. I'm allowed to try. And that's where everything begins. Second, you need to define what success looks like for you. Not your parents' definition, not society's, not social media's, your own. Maybe success means building a meaningful career, or maybe it means becoming more present with your family, or creating something from scratch, something that matters. Your ambition needs to be rooted deeply in your truth and with your purpose, or you'll never feel fully aligned with it. Third, you need to break it down. See, big dreams are beautiful, but they can feel overwhelming. So you take that big, wild, exciting ambition and you start small. What's one step you could take this week? Not a leap, a step. Whether it's starting a new habit, signing up for a course, reaching out to someone for guidance, momentum builds clarity. Clarity doesn't come first, movement does. Fourth, surround yourself with the right people. This is key. You need people who see you, who believes in the bigger version of you, even when you cannot fully see it yet. And let me say this gently. Sometimes you'll need to limit the time with people who unintentionally or intentionally dim your light. And lastly, stay connected to your deeper purpose. This is what keeps your ambition from becoming empty. If your ambition is just about titles, money, or recognition, it's easy to burn out or get lost in the comparison. But when it's rooted in something bigger, a desire to grow, to contribute, to serve, to live fully, then even when it's hard, it still feels worth it. And that's when ambition becomes a gift, not just for you, but for the people around you. Because every time you choose to rise, to move, to try again, you give permission to others to do the same. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you of something that we all need to hear sometimes. You don't need to have it all figured out to start. You don't need to be perfect or confident or even clear about every detail of your journey. What you need to do is the willingness to believe, just a little, that there is more in you. That your dreams are not silly. That your goals are not too big. That your story isn't over yet. We live in a world that often encourages comfort over courage. But growth doesn't happen in comfort zone. And neither does joy. Neither does meaning. So if you feel that fire inside of you, honor it. Because ambition isn't about being better than anyone else. It's about being better than who you used to be. It's about showing up fully, living intentionally, and daring to believe that your life can make a difference. So here's my challenge for you today. Don't just finish this episode feeling inspired. Do something with that energy. Let that ambition inside of you speak up a little louder. Let it stir something deep in your heart and then act on it. Take a moment today, just a few quiet minutes, and ask yourself, what is the dream I've been afraid to say out loud? What is that one goal, that vision, that version of yourself that keeps calling you forward, but you've been ignoring it or shrinking it because it felt too big? So write it down, Put it somewhere you can see it, even if it scares you, even if it doesn't make sense to everyone else, because your ambition is valid and it's needed. Then ask yourself, what's one step I can take this week to move toward it? Just one step. Maybe it's reaching out to someone. Maybe it's signing up, showing up, learning something new, or simply telling yourself, I'm doing this. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait until it's perfect. And please, don't wait until it's too late. Because you were made to go big. You were made to become. You were made to create, grow, and contribute. And the world needs your ambition, not watered down, not hidden, but fully alive. Every habit you build, every effort you make, it all adds up. So keep showing up, because the small steps you take today are shaping the person you become tomorrow. That's it for this episode, my friends. Thanks for tuning in, and if you like it, please share it with the people around you, because we all grow better when we do it together. I'll see you in the next episode.